This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. It was billed as the Battle of the Dads, the vice presidential debate, Tom Kean versus Mike Pence. In the end, it was more like the Battle of the Dads at a Little League game. Veterans of Daddy Ball, you know what I'm talking about. Who won? Who lost? Did you watch? Do you care? Will the vice presidential debate have any impact on how you will vote for president? That is our subject tonight, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. Hurricane Matthew has already claimed at least 11 lives in the Caribbean. The damage in Haiti is described as catastrophic. Hurricane Matthew brought a flash flooding and winds of 145 miles an hour. Many people in isolated areas ignored evacuation orders and are now cut off. For the latest on what's to expect, let's go to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. This catastrophic storm continues to look healthier on the satellite imagery, and what that means, it looks like it's getting better organized after the mountains kind of tore it up a little bit in Cuba and Haiti. But now we're starting to see some big storms firing up near the center, and it's becoming a little bit more symmetrical in nature. You can see it right there with the larger area of red starting to flare up there, indicating that the colder cloud tops are developing around what appears to be a strengthening storm system right now, with a center of rotation right there pushing off toward the northwest. Again, this storm is going to have a possibility of devastating effects on the state of Florida. Simply because it may move right along the coastline. If it does that, then a large area of east coast of Florida will experience the possibility of a major hurricane, not just one specific area, as they typically do move in and then weaken. This one may stay strong during its duration if it stays close enough to the coast. Now, if it stays farther away, say 70 miles away, then the hurricane force winds will stay offshore. So there's a little bit of a difference there in terms of where it may be and how much damage you may see along the east coast of Florida. And there's even a possibility it may move further inland. That's the reason why we are now under a tropical storm watch. The area in pink that you see, which covers all of Hillsborough, Tampa, I should say Pinellas County, as well as Manatee, Sarasota, Charlotte, and into DeSoto County. That's a tropical storm watch, meaning the possibility exists that you may see tropical storm force winds within 48 hours. More than likely, this could change over to a tropical storm warning like we saw now with Hardee County, which includes Wauchula, Avon Park, and also Sebring under a tropical storm warning. They could see high-end tropical storm force winds here begin late tomorrow night and continuing on into Friday morning. We're talking winds maybe 50 to 70 miles an hour in this particular area for a pretty good duration. Now, on top of that, hurricane warnings all up along the east coast from just north of North Miami Beach, northward up to Daytona Beach, and then north of that, there is a hurricane watch. These are the areas, again, that are under the tropical storm watch, tropical storm warnings in the yellow area there. And as far as storms go right now, not much to show you, although we're starting to see this banding feature start already. And not expecting a lot of rain. However, the winds will be an issue in terms of the possibility of tropical storm force, and it looks as though we will see a very slight risk of an isolated tornado. Here's the most likely area, right there near Fort Pierce, making landfall. But it could be on this end as well. There's still that error. There's a possibility of some error here as a result of how strong the high pressure is building to the north of this system. The stronger it builds to the north, the more it's going to be on a westerly course. So this could adjust at the 11 o'clock advisory more toward the west. And we're hoping it's more toward the east, but the trend has been for the west. And this is at Friday, 2 a.m., 130-mile-an-hour winds making it a Category 4 storm. And then notice what happens. That center line, if you will, moves right along the coast, right on the coast of Florida. Just a little deviation to the right, though, would keep the hurricane force winds offshore and then off to sea. Now, some models are suggesting it may actually loop back around and come back for more, but that remains to be seen. We'll see how that plays out down the long run. But for the time being, for us here along the west coast of Florida, it's going to start to get windy tomorrow, and then the wind gusts by tomorrow evening. We're talking 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts up to 40 into Sebring, and then up to 50 by 1 a.m. into Sebring. So a very windy night ahead tomorrow night and into the morning on Friday, eventually subsiding somewhat by, it looks like, Saturday morning. So we'll start to see some of that wind move out of here. The reason why we're under the watch now is because our chances of probability of tropical storm force winds has now moved to the 50 to 60% chance into Manatee County and 40 to 50 into Sarasota and Charlotte counties. through Thursday night and most of the day on Friday. Well, much more coming up a little bit later, Alan.
Bob, thanks. First Haiti, the Bahamas are next, and now Hurricane Matthew sets its sights on Florida and the East Coast. States of emergency have been declared in Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas. Millions of people are being urged to evacuate, including mandatory evacuations in Brevard and Martin counties. Governor Rick Scott is urging people to get out before it is too late.
Our number one priority is protecting life. The storm has already killed multiple people, and we should expect the same impact in Florida if people do not take this seriously.
Traffic jams are expected along the eastern coast as millions of people evacuate. Some of those fleeing the East Coast are now seeking refuge here on the Suncoast. More will be on the way, hopefully before the storm hits. Rooms at local hotels like Beachside Villas on Siesta Key and are filling up fast. Staff says they have been receiving calls and setting up reservations all day long.
They know they're not going to be impacted by traffic. They know that they can drive here, they can park their car, and they don't have to get in their car again until they leave after the hurricane has, gone through the East Coast.
A few other hotels we spoke to around Sarasota are nearly booked this upcoming weekend due to the storm. As the Suncoast closely monitors Matthew, Manatee County is adjusting to having a new person in charge of emergency management. Don Hermey resigned as emergency management chief last month. The county has not released any details surrounding his resignation. Sherilyn Burris has been tapped as chief until a permanent replacement is hired.
I want people to keep in mind, even though it's not making landfall here, doesn't mean we're really out of the woods.
Burris has held positions with the Florida Division of Emergency Management, as well as a federal contractor for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Manatee County is under a storm watch tonight. As a precaution, free sandbags are once again being made available to residents. You can pick them up tomorrow between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. They are available at several locations, including Buffalo Creek Park, GT Bray Park, Lakewood Ranch Park, Stormwater Operations, and the Rabonia Community Center. During intense storms, barrier islands are especially prone to flooding. Now communities are preparing for the worst. Residents say poor drainage is often to blame for high water levels. City governments are also exploring both short and long-term solutions and say hearing from residents helps them pinpoint problem areas.
Actually going through with the public works staff, gathering all those complaints, mapping it out, where are the concentrated problem areas, and being able to rate them in a priority level so that we can hit the ground running with a really good roadmap.
Holmes Beach also cites sea level rise as a contributing factor to flooding. Meanwhile, there are flood concerns in the city of Northport as well. A creek that manages runoff is already 3 feet over capacity, causing some roads to flood. Engineers are draining as much water as they can before even more rain impacts our area. Emergency Operations is urging residents not to drive through flooded roadways. Red tide continues to be a problem on area beaches, and it is unclear how or if Hurricane Matthew will affect it. Mote Marine found high concentrations of the algae at Longboat Key, North Lido Beach, and Turtle Beach during tests on Monday. Dead fish continue to wash ashore. It can cause real problems for those with respiratory problems.
Red tide is most commonly associated with the end of summer or beginning of fall. That's usually where blooms begin. However, blooms can come up anytime during the year.
Mote Marine says red tide can be patchy and concentration levels can vary beach to beach. And still to come, one of them could be a heartbeat away from the presidency. Did you catch the presidential debate last night? If not, we'll have a recap for you when we return.
What does it mean when New South Window says Factory Direct?
It means we have a factory.
It means we eliminate the middleman.
It means you get an award-winning, energy-efficient window at factory direct pricing.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell. Replacing your windows will not just beautify your home, but save you big bucks on your energy bills. I've done the research. I've seen the factory. New South Window is my hands-down choice.
New South Window. We manufacture, we install, we guarantee. Call now.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope. and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help.
And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
Hello, I'm Whitney Stewart, the current National Boys and Girls Club's Youth of the Year.
And I'm Haley Wilkes, news anchor for ABC7. Please join us for the Women in a Changing World panel discussion. You will hear from a 3-time Olympic gold medalist, senior vice presidents from Disney and Tupperware, a New York Times senior writer, and an Alaskan Native poet.
For more information, please visit womeninachangingworld.com.
I am the resident district manager on the FAU campus for Chartwell. Whenever I see Haley, I do not see a person with a disability. I see a person with extraordinary abilities. Haley is always smiling. She's always on time. She gives fantastic customer service and is always focused on any job that she's given.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC7. We're here for you.
So who do you think won the vice presidential debate last night? And does it even matter? Well, with a race this close, everything might matter. Scott McLean is in Farmville with the highlights.
In what quickly became a fiery debate,
the thought of Donald Trump as commander-in-chief scares us to death.
The campaign of Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine has been an avalanche of insults.
The vice presidential candidates took shots at each other.
The Trump plan is a different plan. It's a you're fired plan.
I appreciated the you're hired, you're fired thing.
But the primary focus was the candidates who were not there. Donald Trump.
When Donald Trump says women should be punished, or Mexicans are rapists and criminals, or John McCain's not a hero, he is showing you who he is.
Senator, you whipped out that Mexican thing again.
And Hillary Clinton.
He still wouldn't have a fraction of the insults that Hillary Clinton leveled when she said that half of our supporters were a basket of deplorables.
At the end of the night, polling shows Republican Mike Pence had a stronger showing than Tim Kaine. A new CNN ORC instant poll shows that 48% of voters who watched the debate think Pence won, while 42% think Kaine came out on top. It's a clear contrast with how their running mates polled after their first debate last week, with Hillary Clinton coming out the winner.
A nation without borders is not a nation. Donald Trump is committed to restoring the borders of this nation.
So, on the economy, there's a fundamental choice for the American electorate. Do you want a you're hired president in Hillary Clinton, or do you want a you're fired president in Donald Trump?
Both parties will now focus on the next presidential debate this Sunday. In Farmville, Virginia, I'm Scott McLean.
When we come back, we'll have reaction from last night's debate with Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, Ravi Mook, who talked to us today from Brooklyn, and then from Joe Gruters, Donald Trump's campaign chairman for Florida.
At ABC7, it's all about being here for you. ABC7 News at 7 with award-winning investigative journalist Alan Cohn. In-depth reporting and debate on important issues and stories in our community with a featured topic of the day and a live roundtable discussion with community leaders and newsmakers. Plus a quick recap of the day's top stories and weather. ABC7 News at 7 weeknights. Now more than ever, we're here for you, Suncoast. Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Why alternative medicine may be linked to fewer flu shots. We'll have details in Health Smart.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, AND services.com.
They took that stress and that tension when I was particularly feeling very bad after that nasty car accident, and it was such a relief to know that I didn't have to bear that burden alone, that I had help.
Our goal is to not just get a satisfactory settlement on their case. We want them up on their feet, happy again. They've gotten their life back.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop head that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
And joining us from Brooklyn, New York is Robbie Mook, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager. Robbie, thanks for joining us today. First, let me start with your reaction to the debate last night. When you look at a lot of the analysis of the debate last night, a lot of people say that Governor Pence won on style. Senator Kaine may have won on points, but there was a lot of criticism about how much Senator Kaine interrupted the governor during the debate. What's your reaction to that?
Well, unfortunately, the governor at a number of points during the debate simply refused to acknowledge, let alone defend, a lot of the statements and actions that Donald Trump has taken over the course of the campaign. You know, the central question for this debate was whether Governor Pence would be able to defend Donald Trump. A lot of Republicans haven't been able to up to this point. And whether he'd be able to change the dynamics of the race. And I don't think anybody's arguing that the race changed very much as a result of the debate. But what was really eyebrow-raising was how Governor Pence simply refused to defend Donald Trump's racist remarks about Mexican Americans, refused to defend his 3 a.m. Twitter rant, refused to acknowledge or defend his comments about women. I don't know if that's because Governor Pence is, has his own political future and wants to run for president himself, or because he simply didn't have answers. So, the two gentlemen on the stage aside, I think really the person who lost this debate was Donald Trump. And the stakes are even higher now for the next debate, that he really needs to change the dynamics of this race.
Well, what are you expecting with the debate coming up on Sunday? Because there has been a lot of discussion about what Trump may try to do differently, the issues that he may try to raise, even the issues involving the Clintons' personal life. Are you ready for anything that could happen?
Secretary Clinton's going to be ready for anything. She's a pro, and she's been through this before. So we'll see which Donald Trump decides to show up. I will say I think most people were pretty surprised by how ill-prepared Trump was for the last debate. So we expect him to have done a little bit more prep work this time. From our standpoint, our campaign always does best when Secretary Clinton has the opportunity to talk about the specific plans that she has to make a real difference in people's lives, like affording health care, biggest investment in job creation in 70 years, helping families afford college, and the plan she developed with Bernie Sanders that allows young people to go to our state universities tuition free. That's what we're hoping we have the opportunity to discuss, and there's a lot of differences with Donald Trump. His campaign has not put out very many specific policies, so we're hoping that he comes with some specific ideas to discuss. Up to him what he decides to do.
Let's talk about the state of the campaign here in Florida. The latest poll shows that Hillary Clinton is up about 5 points, But she has been outspending the Trump campaign dramatically in Florida, and some people are asking, why is it this close?
Well, these presidential elections are always close, as you know, and Florida is a battleground state. We call it that for a reason. We think that we are going to win Florida, but we think it's going to be by a slim margin, and that's why we are investing so much, particularly in our ground game. We want to make sure that everybody gets registered to vote by October 11th, and early voting, as you know, starts on October 24th. And in fact, Florida is one of the easiest states in the country to vote. There are going to be more early voting locations, more machines than ever before in this election. And so we're just encouraging people to take advantage of that. Take advantage of that early voting period, shorter lines, easier to get through. And so we're going to spend a lot of time talking to people about that over the next few weeks.
All right, Robbie Mook, thanks for joining us from Brooklyn, and good luck on the campaign trail.
Thank you so much.
On your TV, on your computer, on your camera, on your smartphone, on your Apple Watch. And now you can get ABC7, your Suncoast News on Fire TV. Just go to mysuncoast.com and click on the mobile tab for a list of fast and free downloads that deliver ABC7, your Suncoast News on the go. Have you ever wondered what it's like to save a life? Find out by donating platelets at Suncoast Blood Bank.
I'm Haley Wilgus, ABC7. Platelets aid in the clotting process and are vital in the treatment of cancer and surgical patients, trauma victims, and critically ill newborns. It's tough to keep enough on the shelves because they only last 5 days. To donate, call this number or visit scbb.org and you can help save a life.
ABC7 congratulates Suncoast Blood Bank on 65 years of serving our community.
Hurricane season is here, and Suncoast weather can go from this to this in seconds. So when severe weather threatens, count on the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC7.
We're armed with the most advanced weather technology so that we can bring you storm warnings faster and with more detail than ever before.
Plus, we focus on the Suncoast and track storms right down to your neighborhood.
On air, online, and on your mobile device. Turn to the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC7. We're here for you.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
And now for the Trump campaign. Joe Gruters is the chairman of Donald Trump's Florida campaign. I know you're going to say Governor Pence won the debate last night. The early poll showed that he did. What was your reaction last night?
I was excited because what it did is it proved that Donald Trump picked the right person to be his vice president. Obviously, he was, I think he had a solid performance last night. And it doesn't matter if you look at national security, personal security, economic security, securing the border. I think Governor Pence showed basically that he's going to be able to help move Donald Trump's vision forward, and I think he did a great job.
Let me ask you this. The analysis I have seen of the debate is that Pence won on style points. He looked mature. He answered the questions well, but the criticism was he really didn't go out of his way to defend Donald Trump when Senator Kaine pointed out some of the more colorful comments that Mr. Trump has made.
Well, I think what the goal of Tim Kaine and the Democrats all along has been to try to demonize Donald Trump and try to do everything they can to tear him down. And what Governor Pence did was he basically showed the optimism within the Trump campaign, what we're going to do, the positive vision. And what I think ultimately it proves is Donald Trump knows how to surround himself with the best possible people.
Right, but did he defend his running mate when the issues came up involving Mexicans or the relationship to Putin and so forth? The analysis is that he could have done more.
Well, he could have done more, but at the end of the day, what people want to hear, people are tired of the politics as usual. This was not a debate for the people that were inside that room, that were inside of the Washington Beltway. What Governor Pence and Donald Trump is trying to do is they're trying to help the American people and trying to show them the positive reinforcements all the way along. And I think Governor Pence did a good job of showing the positive vision that Donald Trump and Governor Pence would do if they got in office. Nobody wants to continue to hear the bickering back and forth. I think Tim Kaine spent way too much time of trying to attack, trying to insult Donald Trump, trying to use Donald Trump's previous comments and everything else he possibly could do to try to tear Donald Trump down. And all I think it did was give Governor Pence the opportunity to show the American public that we are serious about changing the D.C. We're going to return the government back to the people, and we're going to be championing the American people.
Do you hope that Donald Trump takes what Governor Pence did yesterday and applies it to the next debate with Hillary Clinton on Sunday?
Yes, I think Donald Trump is, I think he's a superstar. I think he'll continue to do well. I think he'll continue to improve on this debate performance for the first time, because what you have is you have somebody who's created tens of thousands of jobs over the years versus somebody who has never had a job outside of government.
One more question, and that is, the personalities of Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are so large. Does the vice presidential debate really matter all that much?
I think it matters, and I think what you're hearing today and what you're continuing to hear is I think that Governor Pence did a good job. People want a steady hand in leadership in government, and at the end of the day, people have to communicate and they have to help the president. The vice president's going to help the president with their goals of implementing their vision. And I think Governor Pence, whether his time as a congressman, his time as governor of Indiana, where they've done an unbelievable job, I think he'll take all that experience with them to D.C. and really help be the steady hand for Donald Trump in D.C. as he starts to implement these policies and he tries to get Congress to go along with him. So I think he did a great job. A home run. Go Governor Pence.
Joe Gruters, thanks a lot, and we'll be back in just a moment.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's and FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
If you want 24/7 access to ABC7's breaking news stories, weather forecasts, traffic alerts, health reports, dining segments, local events, Suncoast View, and more ABC7 specialty programming, now there's good news. Introducing the free ABC7 channel on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Your 24/7 access to ABC7. Just search ABC7 on your streaming device and download your free ABC7 app now.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help.
And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
The official salon of ABC7.
letting loose along.
Joining us for a local reaction on the vice presidential debate is Mark Weston, author of The Runner-Up Presidency and a presidential historian, Rita Ferrandino, who is the voter by mail coordinator for the Florida Democratic Party, and Jack Brill, the vice chairman of the Republican Party of Sarasota. Welcome to all of you. Mark, let me start with you. And, who do you think won last night?
I think Pence won by a small margin. Kaine was interrupting him too often, and Pence was cool throughout. But today and tomorrow and the next day, the fact checkers will be working, and there were a lot of misstatements of fact by Pence. So it may be that during the fact checking stage, Kaine will be thought to have won. For example, Pence said that only 10% of the Clinton Foundation funds were actually spent on charities, when in fact it's more than 90%. That's a pretty big error in fact.
But the news cycles change so much. Even if the fact checkers find that Governor Pence exaggerated just a little bit, does it really even matter?
It may not. You may be right about that.
Senator Kaine came under a lot of criticism for how many times he interrupted last night. How many?
70 times.
And I bet you counted every single one of them.
No, I looked it up, though, right afterwards.
Why wasn't Donald Trump as criticized as he was when he interrupted Hillary Clinton how many times?
51
yes.
times. And but I don't know how many times Hillary interrupted Donald Trump either. So
17, I think it was.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, there goes. That case is gone now. So, now Governor Pence interrupted Senator Kaine 40 times. So there was a lot of interruption on both sides.
It was supposed to be the battle of the dads. And as I said at the outset, it was almost like the dads who would go to a Little League game, because that's what it kind of looked like, Rita.
So my touch point always is the morning after at the YMCA, because that's where the real people are, and that's where all the important discussions are happening. And no one was talking about the debate. Everybody was talking about the hurricane. Were we going to evacuate? What we were going to do? There was more chatter politically about Joe Biden having been in town earlier in the week than there was about this debate at all. So I really think that this debate there was not much to talk about. People weren't engaged, and it wasn't the two candidates. It wasn't Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton's debate was the most watched debate in history. And I think that's the debate that people cared about.
There were about 40 million people, about half the audience of the first presidential debate watched last night's vice presidential debate.
And I bet you if you ask how many went all the way through, it was far smaller number.
It was the lowest viewership for a vice presidential debate since 2000. There have only been a couple of vice presidential debates that have lived in memory. You could talk about the famous Dan Quayle debate when the Senator Lloyd Benson said, you're no Jack Kennedy. And I could also remember Admiral Stockdale, why am I here? Who am I? Mark, are these vice presidential debates really not significant to this process at this stage?
If no one does any damage, they're not significant. But a vice presidential candidate can do sometimes a lot of damage. When General Curtis LeMay said Americans shouldn't have a phobia about using nuclear weapons, and that personally he'd rather die from a nuclear bomb than a rusty knife, it just stunted George Wallace's candidacy to a huge degree.
That might be a non-starter. But, on the other hand, as we mentioned, one could not imagine a worse debate moment than Dan Quayle in 1987 or 88. And obviously, George Bush, H.W. Bush, still won the presidency. So in the end, folks, do you think this is really going to have an impact in terms of this presidential campaign?
It probably will not have an impact. People are more ready for Sunday night's debate. But the one thing that did come out in last night's debate, in between all the interruptions, is there was actually some policy. You could see the differences between the two candidates, and there was some discussion, which was nice. I actually thought it was refreshing to hear issues being discussed. And then, so that is, that. But at the long run, by Friday, that'll be totally forgotten about.
There were a lot of Republicans who spent a lot of time last night going, wow, we wish Donald Trump would be talking about policy issues. I think that really was one of the highlights, is that they talked about issues and they were defining what the candidates' platforms really were. And that was probably the most interesting part of the debate.
Mark.
One impact it might have is that Pence called Putin a small and bullying man and advocated sending missile defenses to Poland and the Czech Republic. And up until now, Putin and Trump have been friendly. And if Putin was planning any kind of October surprise through WikiLeaks, he might have second thoughts.
I actually had heard that same comment, that the winner in this debate was really that they were able to get, from Tim Kaine's perspective, was able to get Tom Pence to say some things that they'll be able to hang on and use later on in the campaign.
Right. To your point about real policy issues, there were some highlights. They talked about abortion and women's health care rights. They talked about community policing, where they actually agreed, for the most part, with each other. We talked about the criticism of Senator Kaine, the criticism of Governor Pence, as we asked Joe Gruters about, is that he didn't really back up Donald Trump on a lot of different issues. And some criticism was that it almost seemed to be setting himself up for a presidential run 4 or 8 years from now. What did you think?
That's way above my pay grade. So and actually, obviously he reacted and answered and didn't answer what he, was comfortable with. And so, I thought he did a very good job in, deflecting some of the I'm going to call them attacks, but the statements made by Senator Kaine. But you look at, who knows what the future will be. Politics is a 30-day cycle, and the world will be changed by then.
But you are right. I mean, Tom Pence was really on the defensive, having to defend Donald Trump's, Mike Pence's statements of Donald Trump that Donald Trump made. So I thought that was pretty significant too. He was on the whole defense the whole time.
He did a great job sidestepping Trump's worst utterances by saying, well, he's not a polished politician. I thought that was very skillful on Pence's part.
And I think you could see that obviously the Hillary campaign, or the folks on the Democratic side, they had really loaded up Senator Kaine to try and goat him on, debate him on, to get him to try and react. And I thought he did a really good job of sticking with a lot of the facts, answering the questions, and and that helped with the discussions of policy. And there are clear differences.
So we move on to the second debate between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, a totally different format, a town hall meeting format on Sunday. The question is the impact of really these debates over with, for the most part, after the first debate, or can Donald Trump really basically come back and despite the fact his campaign says that he won the debate, do better in the second debate?
Win the debate. That was pretty clear.
Mark, is there precedence for a candidate turning it around in the second debate?
Absolutely. Romney won the first debate against Obama in 2012, but Obama came back and probably did better in the second and third debates. So it could happen. However, the second debate is a town hall, and I'm not sure that Donald Trump has really done a town hall unless Sean Hannity was running it. So these are going to be ordinary people asking about ordinary problems, and he's going to be wanting to shift to Bill Clinton's sexual escapades, and these ordinary people are not going to want to hear it. So he may make some big mistakes in this town hall.
See, I respectfully disagree. I think Donald Trump will be more comfortable in a town hall setting. I think Hillary's actually less comfortable, with the interaction. So I think the town hall is a debate format is a great way for Donald Trump to really show and answer questions.
What do voters around here want to hear from these candidates? If you look at our Facebook comments, which I frankly don't know is a fair representation of how everybody around here feels, the dislike for Hillary Clinton is so intense. The dislike by some of Donald Trump is incredibly intense. There's been a lot of talk about whether Donald Trump will bring up the issues involving Bill Clinton. Jack, do you think that would be a mistake?
That was a long time ago, and the campaigns get paid a lot of money to, from a negative campaigns win. But I think from Sarasota and the Suncoast area, people want to know about Medicaid, Social Security, what's the federal debt, and I've mentioned it before in your show, we're spending $67 million a day in interest payments on our federal debt. What's the future generations for our next, future for our next generations? They want to hear, we've got intelligent voters in the Suncoast area. They want to know facts. What's the plan? Let's be specific.
And I think that's why Donald Trump has been struggling here. It's because our voters are really thoughtful and caring and want to hear about policy issues that affect them.
Mark, I'm going to give you the last word.
I wish $20 trillion debt sounds like panic, but there are 325 million people in this country. It comes out to $60,000 per person, and you have 20 or 30 years to pay it off. The debt that we have is nothing that a good economy can't solve.
All right. We have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll get a final thoughts from our roundtable, so stay with us.
Hurricane season is here, so when severe weather threatens, count on the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC7.
We bring you storm warnings faster and with more detail than ever before.
And track storms right down to your neighborhood.
On air, online, and on your mobile device. Turn to the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC7. We're here for you.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Welcome back. We are discussing the first and only vice presidential debate. Our roundtable guests join us now for final thoughts. So in the end, folks, and we only have about 2.5 minutes, and I want to get on to one other thing, but the vice presidential debate was interesting, but is it really going to, in the big picture, mean anything in this campaign, Mark?
No, both candidates did well enough that it won't mean anything.
Either.
I don't think it will matter. I think it matters more that Joe Biden, the Vice President of the United States, was here in Sarasota this week.
I know you wanted to get to that, Jack.
I don't think it'll even matter. They did their job. They answered the questions. There wasn't anything major that came out of it. So on to Sunday night's debate with Donald Trump.
One other area, and that is whether we are going to see either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton back in our area before the election. I mean, we do remember that President Obama did come here when he was running for re-election. And that he came close to, in 08, winning. But Hillary has not been here during the general election cycle.
Well, Obama was here 5 days before the end of the election. So we don't know when Hillary will be by, but I expect that we will have Hillary Clinton here sometime in the future. You know, Chelsea's been here, Bill's been here twice, and Hillary was here fundraising at the very beginning of this cycle. So I feel confident we'll see Hillary.
Mark, traditionally Florida has been so close over the last few election cycles. You know, the president in 12 barely won Florida. I would imagine both campaigns would be fighting for every single vote, whether this is a predominantly Republican area or not.
And as spoiled swing state voters, we expect the candidates to come to our communities, but Sarasota and Manatee counties combined are only 4% of the population of the state. So if they were to come to Florida 25 times, we really shouldn't expect more than one visit.
Jack, do you expect Mr. Trump or...
He's been here twice. We've had great rallies both times. He's actually been here 3 times when you include the First Statesman's Award. I wouldn't be surprised if he's back one more time. This has been a great area. He's got a lot of support here.
And Ritu, you were with the Vice President the other day. What kind of thrill was that for you?
It was an unbelievable event. The most unbelievable part is that we had hundreds and hundreds of people that turned out that we were not expecting, that were not able to get in. The last debate really energized Democrats and Hillary Clinton's supporters, and I think that really was manifested in how many people came out to see Joe Biden. It was packed inside and outside.
Okay, well, we'll leave that there, but before we go, we want to share what some of our viewers are saying about last night's topic. During Hurricane Hermine, the Siesta Key wastewater treatment facility reached capacity, and staff were forced to release more than 3 million gallons of partially treated sewage into the Siesta Key Grand Canal. The facility was supposed to close this year, but will remain open now until the end of next year. Here is what some of our viewers are saying about the situation. Patricia O'Connor writes, just pumping it into our waterways, they should be ashamed. With cities up and down the Gulf Coast doing this, our beautiful beaches are becoming septic tanks. Disgusting. Fix it. Kate Martin writes, they don't care, although you know damn well they care if they live where the dumping happened. Disgusting. And Elsa Doe writes, Florida is known for beautiful beaches, but they aren't so pretty when they are full of raw sewage and dead fish, are they? Well, if you'd like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/news@7. I want to thank our guests for being here tonight. Mark Weston is an author and presidential historian. Rita Ferrandino is vote by mail coordinator for the Florida Democratic Party. And Jack Brill is the vice chairman of the Republican Party of Sarasota County. When we return, we'll have the latest on Hurricane Matthew.
It's time to upgrade your favorite news app. Now, ABC7's My Suncoast News app is better than ever with a dynamic, brand new design that's faster and easier to use. Stay connected with new features that make it easy to submit photos, share stories on Facebook and Twitter, and save stories for reading at a later time. Download our free My Suncoast News app on your mobile device at your app store. ABC7's all-new My Suncoast News app. Just another way we're here for you. Powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life.
This is a special health alert for seniors suffering with joint pain. If you have Medicare insurance, you may qualify for high-quality support braces at little or no cost.
I'm thrilled with my knee braces.
Now, there is a simple and proven solution for seniors to get out of pain with state-of-the-art support braces.
I barely feel any pain at all.
Braces for your knees and back, as well as your shoulders and ankles, too.
I'm so happy with the quality of these braces.
Call now, and you could qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
I can play ball again, and it doesn't hurt.
And because of my Medicare coverage, it costs me next to nothing.
So call now.
And because I have this red, white, and blue Medicare card, my braces have cost me just about nothing.
It's true. You may get a knee, back, shoulder, and ankle brace at little or no cost.
They qualified me for 2 knee braces and a back brace.
If you have knee or back pain, give them a call. They can help.
1-800-476-8967. 1-800-476-8967.
Christmas Tradition by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
We'll have a look at your headlines in just a moment, but first let's get the latest on Hurricane Matthew with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Yeah, checking the radar and satellite imagery, it's appearing to get a little bit better organized. We'll show you that in a bit. A nice sunset tonight. Could be the last one for a while as we take a look at what happened with Tower Cam as the sun was going below the horizon. We saw a little bit of cloudiness come in from the east to the west, and that's what's going to be happening over the course of the next 2 days. Heavy showers and storms already starting to blow up in some parts of the Suncoast. Nokomis, Dan sending this one in with a nice crepuscular rays there. The sun kind of going through those clouds, and those clouds casting a shadow a bit, and that's always kind of interesting. Well, here's the weather headlines. We got about 40 to 50% chance now in Sarasota and Manatee counties. That's about as high as it was during Hermine. So again, this is about a 40 to 50% chance of getting 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts. And we did see that, obviously, and that will happen mainly tomorrow night, but more so Friday morning and through Friday afternoon. Hardee and Highlands County, which are under a tropical storm warning now, they have a 80% chance really of getting 50 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts, which can down trees, power lines, and cause all sorts of problems. But you'll notice no mention of hurricane force winds, and that's usually the case when we have an east arriving storm along the East Coast. Again, the toughest time will be tomorrow night, but more so throughout the day on Friday morning, and Friday afternoon. Already starting to see some banding features lining up to the east and south of us. One now, and this racing through. We're not anticipating a lot of rainfall like we saw with Hermine, because we'll be on the clean side, so to speak. And so most of the shower and thunderstorm activity will be moving through relatively quickly. Pretty good swath, though, of some pretty heavy rainfall occurring from Palmetto, Bradenton, all the way down to Bayshore Gardens right now. And that activity continues to make its way off toward the southwest at 10 to 15. Well, if you're just joining us, and here's a look at all the different warnings and watches, and there are a lot of them. We won't go over all of it, but the area in red that you see right here, that's a hurricane warning, a very large area, too, to be under a warning because the storm may skirt the coastline with the possibility of 130 mile an hour winds there, all the way down from just north of North Miami Beach, northward up to near Daytona. Now, for us, we're under a tropical storm watch in Manatee, Sarasota, Charlotte counties, as well as into DeSoto County. We're anticipating winds, as I said, on Friday, about 20 to 30 miles an hour, gusts at times up to 40 possible. With some of these bands that may work through on Friday. And then inland areas, obviously Highlands and also into Hardee County, they can expect winds approaching hurricane force. There's a 25% chance that they may see hurricane force winds into Highlands and into also Hardee County. 87 degrees, the sun is set, 95 on the dew point. It feels like temperature. Dew point at 74, so it still feels pretty warm out there as a result of that high dew point. And the high today was close to a record, 92. Our 87 is our normal high, and temperatures have cooled a little bit up in Jacksonville. It's 70 there, but still into the mid to upper 80s up and down the coast. A little bit cooler now in Lake Placid and Sebring. Sebring is going to get ready for the possibility of those tropical storm force winds beginning late tomorrow and continuing through Friday. A lot of factors still in play, so this thing still could move a little bit further to the west. And if it does, that means our winds will increase here in Manatee and Sarasota counties a little bit. No hurricane force, but certainly tropical storm force not out of the question if this indeed shifts a little bit further off toward the west or left in time. High pressure ridge, which is driving the storm now over the north of it, appears will be winning over, and appears that it will take it off more in a northwesterly course throughout the day on Thursday. Eventually a little trough is expected to pick it up, but that trough may be weakened somewhat, and if that's the case, this will have a little bit better chance to get inland. There's still a chance it could stay offshore, maybe by 70 miles. If that's the case, not nearly as devastating of a storm for Florida, but if it doesn't, it could be something to talk about over the next couple of days. As far as the latest goes, we can start to see this deep convection developing around the center. This is a strengthening storm. Once again, we are anticipating the winds to go bounce back to 130 as early as tomorrow morning. 130 sustained with gusts up to 170 miles an hour. Right now it's at 120. And those gusts are at 150. It's moving to the northwest at 12. The pressure, keep an eye on that. It's at 963. I suspect that number will start to go down, too, as it makes its way toward Florida and then eventually off toward the Carolina coast. And then notice what happens. It starts to loop back around, and there's a chance it could come back to Florida next week. We'll see how that plays out. But right now, the most imminent danger is the central Bahamas, northwest Bahamas, and the east coast of Florida. Let's get to the forecast for boaters. One last day of boating tomorrow, and then things fall apart as far as the advisories go, and tough boating for both Friday and Saturday. And then the extended forecast shapes up like this. So tomorrow, look for breezy weather, winds picking up throughout the day, a 40% chance for some squally weather to move through. And then the rain starts to move in periodically throughout the day on Friday. And the windiest day will be Friday, subsiding somewhat on Saturday and looking better for the weekend. Alan will be right back.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
It's time to upgrade your favorite news app. Now, ABC7's My Suncoast News app is better than ever with a dynamic brand new design that's faster and easier to use. Stay connected anytime, anywhere with breaking news and weather alerts, video on demand, and live streaming of your Suncoast News. Download our free My Suncoast News app on your mobile device at your app store. ABC7's all-new My Suncoast News app. Just another way we're here for you. Powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose, big time. Luckily, you can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPB.
This is a special health alert for seniors suffering with joint pain. If you have Medicare insurance, you may qualify for high-quality support braces at little or no cost.
I'm thrilled with my knee braces.
Now, there is a simple and proven solution for seniors to get out of pain with state-of-the-art support braces.
I barely feel any pain at all.
Braces for your knees and back, as well as your shoulders and ankles, too.
I'm so happy with the quality of these braces.
Call now, and you could qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
I can play ball again, and it doesn't hurt.
And because of my Medicare coverage, it costs me next to nothing.
So call now.
And because I have this red, white, and blue Medicare card, my braces have cost me just about nothing.
It's true. You may get a knee, back, shoulder, and ankle brace at little or no cost.
They qualified me for 2 knee braces and a back brace.
If you have knee or back pain, give them a call. They can help.
1-800-476-8967. 1-800-476-8967.
Now a look at our primetime headlines. Manatee County voters will decide whether or not to approve a half-cent sales tax next month. And now we have an idea of how that revenue would be spent. Today, Bradenton City Administrator released his wish list with the majority of the funds focused on roads as well as public safety.
Our biggest need is transportation, with 42% of the monies generated going towards transportation. It will be up to the public, absolutely 100% up to the public.
If approved, the sales tax would bring in around $4 million annually. It will remain in effect for 15 years. More on this story tonight at 11. If you haven't registered to vote yet, get a move on it. Floridians have until next Tuesday. Supervisors of elections will have regular hours on Columbus Day next Monday. On Tuesday, Sarasota's office will remain open until 9 p.m. Manatee's will be open until 7 that night. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.